I was working on C.J. Robison's story, and her story, I think, affected me the most of all the stories in the book. I was really sad because what I saw was a soldier who was wounded in Iraq, and lots of soldiers come back wounded, but when she came back, how I feel is that the wounds did not break her. What broke her was our country and our healthcare system, and the fact that they didn't roll out the red carpet for her. They didn't take care of her when she came back. And she faced so many battles with the VA and trying to take care of herself. And she's a master sergeant. She had 18 years in. I mean, this is one tough woman, and she could not get the help she needed. And so when I sat down at the computer and just froze and started crying, you know, I was really feeling it for CJ. And also, I was feeling very humbled and not worthy, you know, because here I am writing about these women who put their life on the line for us, and they've all been wounded. And I mean, you don't come back from war unaffected, like I said. And here I am just sitting at my safe little computer writing their stories. So I think I was feeling a little unworthy.
The women you wrote about, you grew to love.
Mm-hmm.
And the deeper you got into their world, the more trouble you became.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
How do you ultimately put that all behind you, put a smile on your face, and write another book?
Well, it's hard because, as I just mentioned to you, I mean, when I had a signing yesterday, and when I went to sleep last night, I mean, I had tears. And tears of joy that I'm bringing these women together and they're getting out there and telling their stories and educating the public, which I think is really awesome. But just tears having to do with what they went through. And secondary trauma is, you know, secondary trauma is what a lot of healthcare people go through and counselors. It's when you haven't been through the experience yourself, but you're really close to people, maybe a woman who was raped. And you just feel that. You just feel it really strongly. And so the best thing for me, I've been in counseling since November, and I just keep talking about these stories. And the book tour is very emotional.
Sure.
I mean, there was a gentleman last night at this book signing who had lost a son in Iraq. There was another woman who said her son was coming home for 2 weeks of R&R. And she said, "What do I need to do when he comes home?" CJ said, "Food, television, sleep, and beer." About an hour into the drive, an IED exploded next to the driver's side of Robison's truck. The explosion rocked the Humvee and shot shrapnel into the vehicle. Luckily, none of the soldiers was hit by the flying debris. However, the explosion happened just 8 feet from Robison, and the sound was deafening. It felt like someone had popped the inner tube of a tire next to her ear. She asked the soldiers in her truck if they were all right, but she couldn't hear their responses. Her ears were ringing. She couldn't even hear the voices on the radio. The explosion pissed her off. "Kiss my ass," she thought. "It's unbelievable when someone attacks you and you can't see them. It's such a chicken shit thing to do. You want to come out and fight? Come out and fight. The enemy can see us, but we can't see him. And I can't see the soldiers behind me to know if they're okay."
It was like a nightmare. It was nothing that Hollywood could ever capture. I remember one day thinking, if they had a camera crew here, they still would not get this. That feeling of rage that sparked. I don't think you could get that from any other place on the face of the earth.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.